what improved your life so much you wished you did sooner? Stopped arguing with random strangers on internet. Sometimes I'll type out a comment for the catharsis and then just delete it and go on my way. Doing at least one chore a day. You would be amazed at how well getting something done, even if you hate it, can fight back against certain depressive mentalities, particularly the ones that convince you you're useless or are a burden. This is great advice. For me, a triple 30 worked wonders. Every day spend 30 minutes cleaning chores, 30 minutes exercise, and 30 minutes of self-improvement, which could be anything, e.g. practicing guitar. Get home from work, knock off the triple 30 in 5 hours. And oh man, the sloth after that feels so good and so earned. And what's 5 hours? Nothing. Highly recommend it. Edit. Not only does it annihilate your housework, its biggest effect on me was kicking the ass of my depression and anxiety. It's not gone, but so much more manageable. Edit 2. Thank you for the awards. I am absolutely delighted that this resonated with people. It made such a difference for me. Moved away from the state I grew up in. I didn't know how unhappy I was. I had gotten used to being miserable, and now that I'm in a better area I'm a completely different person. I did this but moved halfway around the world. It's amazing how much background stress is gone when I finally accepted that I was just not meant to be where I was. I miss my family, but we stay in regular contact and I have a lovely found family here. Sometimes just up and getting out of a place that isn't for you is the best course of action. Learning to set boundaries and say no. Daily exercise. It doubled my energy for an hour out of my day. And that's just the benefit you get now. You have no idea the dividends you'll collect on that as you age. The key to aging gracefully is in staying active. Quitting smoking. Low impact cardio. Fuck, I love to run, but it destroyed my legs. I can swim, man, swimming my little heart out. Swimming is great. Lot of fun, refreshing, and good exercise. When I was told that I would lose my eyesight, it made me pay more attention to how beautiful the sky was. I can still see and I enjoy watching the clouds on a level I can't even explain. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the love. You all have made me very happy. Deleted. Exercise every day. Anxiety and depression are much easier to manage. And I got some confidence I haven't had in years. Quitting drinking is the best thing I've ever done for my mental and physical health, and it's done nothing but improve my relationships. The last year and a half have been the best I've ever had. I'm on day 19. Not everyone can afford this, but moving closer to work, my commute went from 45 miserable minutes in traffic glaring in hatred at the taillights in front of me to a pleasant 15-minute bike ride. I got an hour of free time every day and better health. Pandemic did me a solid on this one. Lost my job of 20 years due to it. 2 hours of commuting every day, which had just risen to 3 hours. Took a year off, then found a perfect job round the corner from my house. 4 minutes walk. Absolute game changer. Took a 20% pay cut, but we sold my commuting car, and with the price of fuel what it is, we're actually considerably better off. The 3 hours saved commuting means extra time with my wife and kids. I'm very happy. Reading books way more. I started reading science fiction and fantasy books instead of everything I read being great or literary, and I found I like reading things I enjoy more than things other people deem relevant or worthwhile. Bachelor degree at 47 years old. Master degree at 50 years old. Doubled my salary in 4 years. From just getting by to on track for retiring at 60. Do tell, what is your degree in? What inspired you to pursue at 47? I stopped living my life just waiting for the weekend. When you work 5 days a week and have just 2 off, it's not good to be always waiting for those 2 days. You can plan something meaningful or fun every day, even if it's just a small thing. Edit. Wow. Thanks for all the awards. I'm glad others have found this comment helpful. Listening to the sound of rain to fall asleep. Stopped caring what others think about me. Eating dinner or a late snack at work. Too often I would leave work hungry, and the temptation driving past Chick-fil-A or the corner taco shop was too much. I've kept my weight under control for a couple of years now, having dropped from the 220s to the 170s. I remember when I lost 10 pounds because my window motor broke in my car, and I couldn't go through the drive-thru anymore. I started flower gardening. Really relaxing. You will see results all summer. Lots of successes and failures, but failures bring improvements. And I listen to Audible books while I'm at it sometimes. Especially great if you have a desk job. Edit. It's so nice to know so many are enjoying gardening. I had no idea it would be a Reddit thing. My social skills. Looking back, I could have made some awesome new friends. But nope. My anxiety-driven ass had to be difficult back then. Deleted. No one has said it yet. But laser eye surgery. Best money I've ever spent. Had mine a month ago. Well, annoying for the first 2 weeks or so, but definitely worth it. So freeing not scrabbling around for my glasses first thing. Getting a WFH 40-hour-a-week job. I was working like 55 hours a week in a warehouse before. So much room for activities. Edit. This blew up, so anyone asking how I did it, there's a comment below explaining it in detail. Flossing. Actually, I use a water pick now. Now my hygiene and cleaning visits are a breeze. And I haven't had a cavity in years. Also, periodontitis is strongly linked to a whole host of diseases like dementia. https://www.nkb.nlm. Gov PMC articles PMC 8,297,088. https://www.nkb.nlm. Gov PMC articles PMC 8,297,088. And heart diseases. https://www.health. Harvard. Edu heart health gum disease and heart disease the common thread. https://www.health. Harvard. Edu heart health gum disease and heart disease the common thread. I guess flossing is a hugely underrated health intervention. Quitting drinking. Everything is easier these days. Coming up on 4 years. 3. 5 with 2 slips. Fuck it, I don't count them. Got a bidet toilet attachment. There's nothing like having a clean ass all the time. It also ruins your life because you can never poop anywhere else but home. Got a proper diagnosis. I think a lot of people that for years questioned themselves, what's wrong with me? When they finally got diagnosed, it's a big relief and changes a lot in a better way. Me too, getting diagnosed with ADHD at 36 and then following through on treating it was one of the best things I could have done for myself in the middle of the pandemic. I didn't even realize that I was doing a lot of things in my life on hard mode. Walking. I've got stamina again. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. Walking every day is one of the best things I've done for myself. It's a stress relief. And has helped to maintain or lose weight. Plus this is something I can keep doing into old age provided I have the mobility. Riding my bike at least an hour a day. Seriously. If you haven't ridden a bike in a while, it's just fun. Just packed up and moved thousands of miles away. Left everything behind and just started over. Besides some debt, a suitcase, and contacts for only the non-toxic people in my life. It's been an extremely liberating experience. And looking back, nothing was really preventing me from doing it sooner. No real reasons, at least. I just kept coming up with excuses not to do it until one day I couldn't think of one. Trying to be more positive in general. This is such a big one. Being negative is a bad habit like any other, easy to fall into, hard to break. People, including me, at one time, somehow think it makes them seem smarter, or deeper, or insulates them from disappointment. But it just makes you dragged to be around. Being a cynic isn't sophisticated. I did fencing in college and after that I just couldn't make it work with my school and work schedule. 15 years later, I found a club and started doing it again. I hate every other sport and exercising just to exercise is unpleasant and boring. This is the only one for me and I needed something to make me active. Finding a good local club in your weapon of choice is so hard though. Finding the right therapist. Been in since I was 9. And found the right one at 23. It's only been maybe 6 months but I've already unpacked so much more trauma in that small time than I did all the other years wasted in therapy. Moving out of my home country. Getting divorced. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Agreed. Thinking back on it, the perfect point would have been 12 years sooner than I did. Would have saved me a whole lot of stress, heartache, and money. I'm a much more relaxed and easygoing person than I was when I was married. Learned Spanish. Now I have a lot of amazing Latino friends and I got a lot of great gigs and opportunities because of it. I came here to say this. Learning Spanish has changed my life. I have friends all over the world now. I'm going to Europe for the first time this year. I feel like the world has opened up for me. Now I'm back in school learning how to teach English to Spanish speakers and I'm learning French. Plus it was a huge confidence booster. Setting rules for myself. After COVID started, I spent a year drinking and eating pizza every other day, and at that time I thought, why shouldn't I keep doing it if I enjoy it? You can die anytime, so you should make the most out of what little time you have, right? The problem being, apart from health consequences, that it quickly becomes not enjoyable, and I realize now how miserable I was during that time. Most things are only fun when you do them occasionally. Sounds obvious, I know, but it was not obvious for my dumbus. Now I have set rules for myself that I can only drink on Sundays and only eat junk food once a month, and it's so much more rewarding and fun. Same here, but instead of drinking it's weed. I'm at the point where I'm sick of it. It doesn't do anything for me. And it stinks, but I just keep doing it and I'm not exactly sure why. Sarah Silverman once said that she used to smoke weed daily and then she got sick of it, so she decided to make it a treat. I need to make weed a treat and do it sparingly. It's fucking hard though. I begrudgingly started lifting weights when I was 30 due to some back pain that caused me to barely be able to get out of my office chair. I forced myself to go for a few weeks. Then I started looking forward to going to the gym. Then after a while I became a total gym rat meathead. I wish I had started lifting when I was a teenager. Not only did it cure my back pain, but I lost weight. Look and feel much better, and the doctor says all my health indicators are spot on now, as I am in my 40s, and in addition it's like a hobby for me now that I tinker with and socialize with other people who are into the same thing, etc. Meeting my wife. That woman fills my heart in ways words can't describe. It just can't be too much sooner, because then I wouldn't have my awesome stepsons. Learning how to do everything myself. Car issue? Look it up. Fix my fence? Look it up. Just do it all myself. Replace valves? Look it up. If they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Username checks out. Playing Minecraft. I'm a fully grown adult that used to think it was really stupid. But then my friend set up a server. And now we all play together. It's a wonderful creative outlet that isn't anywhere near as stressful as some games can be. Stop adding sugar to my coffee. Hiring a cleaner. I grew up in a house where money was tight. Whenever we heard people talking about their maid or housekeeper, we always assumed they were super rich. I'm not rich. Very much middle class. But my wife and I both work full time and have a lot on our plates. We found a local person who has a small cleaning business. We keep up with day-to-day cleaning, dishes, laundry, immediate spills and messes, wiping things down, etc. Then once a month, a cleaner does a pass, focusing on dusting, deeper clean of the floors, bathrooms, etc. It's about the same cost as a date night, and it does so much to help us stay on top of things. In this vein, my husband and I decided to pay for someone to mow our lawn. It has saved so much stress and time on the weekends. The rest of our house is noticeably neater now too. Working out and deleting most social media like Twitter. Yoga. Hell yes. I started doing yoga every day 2 months ago and feel so much better. My body doesn't hurt constantly. My work injuries give me less trouble. And I'm just happier. I've also started running, which I've always hated but now look forward to whenever I can. I hate the days I can't run because of work. Left my abusive relationship of 14 years. When I stopped worrying about things I could not control, completely eliminated my general anxiety. Still can't speak in public, but a catastrophic climate disaster? Sometimes it be like that. Cut toxic people out of my life. Getting good earplugs for sleeping. Word to the wise on this, change them out. Or clean them fairly frequently. I used to use earplug every night. I never thought about how dirty they get. I ended up giving myself an ear infection. And now I have tinnitus, sound, so bad I sorta want to die. And it never really goes away. Got the fuck away from that fentanyl. Got a divorce. Ritalin, Concerta for me, and a diagnosis of ADHD1 at the ripe old age of 46. Everything explained. Oh. Swap TV in the evenings for reading. I've read 19 books since March and my mental health has improved drastically since then. Not sure if it's because of the reading, but it's the biggest change I made. Understanding that just because they're your parents doesn't mean they get a mandatory place in your life. Although it's not what I wanted, walking away was the best thing for my mental health. Now that my father has passed, I seldom think of my mother and brother. Using a cup instead of tampons and pads. I got really heavy periods since I started, and it was always a pain for me to deal with just how often I had to change them and how much I had to use. I could have a super tampon, night pad and toilet paper and still bleed through them all in a few hours. Got a cup, and while annoying to use, it gets so much more blood than the others and I don't have to worry about TSS as much. Also, sleeping soundly for more than 8 hours a night was a blessing for me. Stopped drinking and doing so much drugs. I was a terrible alcoholic with first signs of cirrhosis and puking QND, losing enough blood to need a transfusion, so kind of a wake-up call that still took years to actually stop altogether. Accepting adversity as a part of any process. We may get too overwhelmed from time to time when adversity hits, but if you take a peek at the future, it all starts to feel smaller and make more sense. Getting a dog. Hiring a sleep coach to help figure out why my kids wouldn't sleep. She didn't suggest anything radical, just a bunch of little changes, but she held us accountable several times a day for 2 weeks through a shared spreadsheet, and the improvement was incredible. Kids slept way longer, were happier, and better behaved. Spouse and I gained hours together in the evenings, had a way calmer home, and also got to sleep more. We hesitated for months because of sticker shock, but it ended up being a huge investment in our quality of life. Sobriety. 5 years. To talk about my depression, don't be too afraid to seek for help. LASIK eye surgery. Waited years to get it and kicked myself. Went from thick glasses to 20/15 and still have it many years later. Got my back fixed after 10 years of avoiding it. L5/S1 spinal fusion. Realizing that my school isn't hell and appreciating the amount of effort my teachers put into their jobs. Start only doing things you really want to do. I always felt this pressure to please others by inconveniencing myself or putting myself in an uncomfortable position as to make someone else happy or not upset. Fuck all that. It's okay to say no and not have to have anxiety coming up with an excuse. Do you really want to go out? Or is your friend pressuring you to go? Just say no and be firm. No excuses. Just be clear and firm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying be an asshole. My life has improved greatly. No more social anxiety. No more unwanted social pressure. Just doing whatever I truly want to do because it makes me happy. Getting my deviated septum fixed. 2 many broken noses when I was younger eventually led to me as an adult barely able to breathe out of my nose. Sleep was horrible for me. I basically couldn't. I got to the point where I was a zombie sleepwalking through the day. One operation and suddenly I could breathe. Even with the bandages still on, I could breathe better than before. And I could actually sleep. After the first night I realized I had experienced a dream while sleeping, something I hadn't had in years. I should have done that years earlier. Got a cat. Clean eating and working out. I stopped acting like a doormat. I used to think people walked all over me because I was such a nice person and people suck and take advantage of nice people. It turns out that people like equitable relationships. They like people who can set good boundaries and protect them. And they like people who can take a little pushback. They don't want someone just doing nice stuff for them all the time. By trying to be the nice person all the time, I was essentially just trying to manipulate people into liking me because I was useful to them. But this only attracts toxic people and narcissists. I recently took up hand sewing. When I think of how many good pairs of jeans I've thrown away simply because the crotch ripped and all it would have took to fix them was a double-threaded ladder stitch. Going to the gym. I feel like I suffered with hating my body longer than I should have. I realized I could have actually done something about it so much sooner. Stopped being Mormon. Turns out having sex and not feeling guilt about almost everything is pretty great. Got the toenails on my 2 big toes surgically removed. I suffered from horrific ingrown toenails for years, bleeding, infected, constant pain. You cut them. They just kept coming back. Finally went to see a chiropodist who said I can deal with this permanently. Remove the nail. Burn the nail bed so it doesn't come back. A few weeks recovery. and you will never have this pain again. I had a surgery that felt no worse than a tooth extraction. A recovery where I had to change dressings and go easy on my feet for a month or so. And then absolute bliss. Not a single ingrown toenail in the 25 years since. This just makes me uncomfortable. Like, wouldn't it be all weird, sensitive and fleshy? Cutting off toxic family. Literally any and everyone. Mum, sisters, cousins, aunts, etc. No regrets and finally have peace in my life. Cutting out added sugar. Holy hell, blood pressure went down. Energy went way up. I lost weight. Sleep better. Feel better. I can't think of a single change to my diet that had a more immediate and significant impact. Started antidepressants when I was a teenager. There were other factors too, but spent like 15 years in an worry, anxiety-ridden, suicidal ideation depression. I now know it would have at least been significantly curbed if I had been on medication that early. Started making meaningful relationships. I never used to check in on my friends. I was gone a lot and busy with work. At some point it clicked that I had not developed any meaningful relations with my friends. Probably when I went through a traumatic event socially and had very few people check in on me. It's hard to stop being selfish. But when I finally started to think about what I wanted versus what I was giving, I realized I had to do better. Audiobooks, commutes, walks, yard work, chores, watching kids at the park, lounging around etc. are all way better and some of the highlights of my day. I even listen when I fall asleep and it helped me sleep faster and gave me something to enjoy if I have a random bout of insomnia. I'm about to go camping and know I'll sleep like garbage and enjoy every minute of laying in a tent not sleeping. Having my entire large intestine removed. Sounds nuts, but I had like the world's worst Crohn's flare in 2020 which eventually led to my colon trying to perforate. If we had just been more aggressive with treatment and the surgery was planned rather than unexpected, things would have been so much easier. I'm in remission now. Drinking water. Simple but know so many who don't drink enough It's refreshing and revitalizing. I actually have a story. I used to live off of Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper by the 12 PK box. How I stopped. Got into a major fight with my GF at the time, now wife, who was a major health nut. She threw out my soda saying stop drinking that shit. I professed my love for the soft drinks and my free will to do so. She pauses for a moment, narrows her eyes and asked me a simple question. What do you love about soda? After thinking about it, outside of the sugar I said the bubbles. She got me a soda stream with flavor syrup I could reduce to a drop and that was the last time I had soda. To this day she claims she saved my life. Quitting drinking 537 days sober today. I wasted 4 years of my life being in a drunken stupor. So grateful it wasn't longer and so proud that I had the courage to finally quit. Quit soda. I really loved it but now I don't miss it at all. Realizing that, for the most part, people are decent and just get through life like everybody else. Adopting a growth mindset. Believing in the ability of change in all aspects in life. It really started slow and took nearly 2 years. But in most cases I no longer ask if I can do. Instead I ask how to do it and if I want to do it. Coming out to myself and starting socially transitioning. Finally happy with myself for the first time in my life. Riding my mountain bike up the mountain, then riding my mountain bike down the mountain. This single thing made everything easier. Accepting that it'll never be normal. I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when I was 6 months old and now I'm 17. It took me 14 years to realize that my life is so much easier when I'm not constantly thinking about what other people might be thinking about when they see me walk, talk or do anything really. I'm graduating high school literally TMW and it took me this long to finally accept who I am. Getting toxic people out of my life. Deleted. Seeing a dermatologist for adult acne. I tried every product on the market with no success and they had me cleared up in no time. Should have been my first stop. I stopped speaking negatively of myself and changed my language to state my general beliefs and things I know are facts as exactly that and not constantly add in I'm an idiot. But, negative statements make you feel worse even when you say them. Even as a joke. I finally decided to stop giving a shit. Now I do what I want, reasonably, and 95% of the time. I don't regret the decisions I make again. Reasonably. Replacing my Adderall for Adhat with medical CBD. I'm able to focus similarly, but I'm not an intense robot zombie hybrid. Cutting out users in my life. These are people who take advantage of your friendship and generosity any way they can. At every opportunity. From asking for general advice, to getting a ride somewhere, to hey, can you help pay this for me first? I'll pay you back later. And when you do really need their help in something, they always seem to have a reason not to help. Giving up drugs and porn. I would take it for comfort and I got addicted to porn. I watched it not even to jack off but just because I wanted to. I got so fucked up one night I called someone and said a lot of dumb shit. I think I had like 2 bottles of cough syrup and over 100 mgs of other pills. And when I was sober the next day I thought that this isn't healthy. I'm not even 16 and I'm an addict. So I quit drugs. And I also thought to myself and said I don't need pornography. I should get healthy. That was 5 days ago. I've been sober for 5 days and have not watched porn or done drugs. I've touched myself but not watched porn. I hope to never go back. I'm planning on getting a bike and to start running in the morning. Controversial opinion. But drugs. Ever since I started smoking weed and dabbling in psychedelics I've been able to appreciate the world more and be able to better myself. I don't recommend going to opiates and deliriants. But weed and psychedelics can really improve someone's life. Getting fired from my previous job. That place was absolutely destroying me. I should have quit ages before they canned me. Left an abusive relationship.